Yo, 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 it's Crazy Kurt Comics. Hey, I just got back from the LCS, and there is a comic book in here. New comic book. And it's a genre of comic books I get super excited about. It may be my favorite thing going on in comic books right now. Yes, my favorite thing. It may even be more fun for me than the absolute universe going on in DC right now. But hey, stick around. The more you stick around, the more you find out. It is Crazy Kurt Comics coming at you. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Now, one thing I want you to do, if you can, please, I implore you, hit the subscribe button. Hey, turn on the bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. I really need your support to keep doing videos like I'm doing. But like I said, if you stick around, you're going to find out. And one of the cool things that's going on right now, sorry for all the noise, is the rebirth, so to speak, of EC Comics. Now, what is EC Comics? Well, if you don't know about EC Comics, let me give you a brief history. EC Comics started in the 50s, and they put out awesome, crazy books like this, The Vault of Horror, The Haunt of Fear, Weird Fantasy, Weird Science, Tales from the Crypt. You know what Tales from the Crypt turned into? That turned into a TV show that went on for many, many years on HBO. They put out these awesome books. Now, we know what happened in the 50s prior to the comic code. The reason why there is a comic code, because you had books like this iconic cover right here. Look at this. We all know this one. Suspense Stories, number 22. Often homage, the decapitated head. But because of this, EC Comics had a really big following. And then somewhere along the way, they got rid of all of their horror stuff, and they just stuck with one title. And it was their most enduring success. It was Mad Magazine. So Mad Magazine, you may remember, it was very big in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Mad Magazine was their most enduring success. And since then, they really haven't done much. So EC Comics, the family that owns the licenses, they licensed it out to Oni Press in 2024. And Oni Press decided to use some of these stories and use the EC logo and brought back horror anthologies. And like I said, this week, there is a new one out. It is called Cruel Kingdom. Man, look at this. Cruel Kingdom, and it's like a fantasy anthology book, all kinds of twists and turns. And these are some of my favorite books that are coming out. Now, earlier this year, so in 2024, this showed up at the LCS, and it was Cruel Universe. Now, Cruel Universe, and if you can see here, we can zoom in, we could look here at the EC logo right there. EC Comics, an entertainment comic. And Cruel Universe is a science fiction based anthology. So think of Twilight Zone, but if it was all science fiction, things taking place on other worlds involving aliens and other life forms and all kinds of science fiction going on. These are so much fun to read. And then a little later on, they came out with this one, which is Epitaphs from the Abyss. And this is strictly horror, people. This is, look at this guy's carrying a body down the steps. All right. This stuff is so much fun. Again, it's an anthology book, so there's not going to be recurring characters. There's not going to be an ongoing storyline. It's basically 3 or 4 different stories in each book, and they all have a twist, kind of like the Twilight Zone. And these kind of books are so much fun to read. Again, you don't have to know a whole history. You don't have to go buy an omnibus to find out what the whole continuity is. You just read it for what it is. You don't even have to get them in succession. You can miss an issue. Not that you'd want to, but you can miss an issue and then pick something up and still be entertained. And now they have the new one, Cruel Kingdom. And, that's not the only anthology going on right now. You still have Creepshow. Creepshow. Now, if you remember the movie from the 80s, I have the poster upstairs in the hallway. We'll show it at the end of the video. Creepshow, the movie from the 80s, and they came out with Creepshow 2. That was directed by George A. Romero, who did all the zombie, the Walking Dead films. Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. He did all those films. All right, and he directed Creepshow, the movie, and then most of the stories in Creepshow were written by Stephen King, so that was a lot of fun. But the stories that they used in Creepshow were taken from a lot of the stories that you've seen EC Comics did in the 50s from all their different titles. So, and then Creepshow has obviously, been revived. They're on a couple different volumes now over here at Image. But again, between Creepshow and in all these books, like Cruel Kingdom, I can't wait to read this one. You got Cruel Universe, and we got Epitaphs from the Abyss. So I just like reading these. They're just a lot of fun. And what makes comic books interesting is that, my comic book collection is heavy Marvel, DC. But I find sometimes the things I get most excited about are the independent stuff, the stuff that's not Marvel and DC. I say this all the time. Like, Marvel and DC, we grew up on that stuff. And we know those characters and we fell in love with those characters. Right? So, but we've seen those characters through so many things. It's hard for those characters to still grab us and say, oh my God, look at this. We read the stories because we like the characters. But like I said, the things that get me the most excited in comic books have been independent stuff. And stuff like, this. I might read a short story in this. I'm like, oh, that's crazy what happened at the end of that. And I'll end up thinking about it later on in the day. Oh, that's weird how it turned out. Like, it was such a twist you didn't see coming. Sometimes you do see the twist coming. I mean, that's part of the fun. If you ever watched a Twilight Zone episode, you knew a twist was coming. You just know and didn't know what it was. And I guarantee you, almost all the time, the twists were way better than the twists in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. So, but check out these books if you get a chance. EC Comics Revival, Epitaph from the Abyss. We got Cruel Universe, mostly science fiction. And the new one, Cruel Kingdom. And yeah, there's the old standard Creepshow. I just love these books. And that's what makes comic books interesting. I mean, we can collect Marvel, we can collect DC, we can collect independent stuff. I try to leave my mind open and try to be open to all kinds of different comic books. Sometimes it's a love story. Sometimes it's a time travel story. Sometimes it's just a bloody gore fest. Sometimes it's, mental, psychological stuff. This is all that makes comic books fun to read and fun to talk about and fun to discuss. So I'm telling you, pick up one of them books, sit down in the morning, have a cup of coffee, go through a couple stories. I guarantee you will be entertained. And if not, you can come back and let me know, and I'll tell you how much you're wrong. Simple as that. I'm Crazy Kurt, so thanks for joining me. Hey, make sure, again, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, make sure you get notifications when I post new videos, which should be a lot more now. I'm trying to switch more from TikTok videos into YouTube videos, trying to get bigger in this space and just keep talking about things I like. This is what I collect. Right now, this is exciting me. Tomorrow it might be Green Lantern that excites me. The next day it could be Savage Dragon that excites me. You just never know what's going to go on in comic books. So stick around, keep checking out videos. I'm Crazy Kurt. This is Crazy Kurt Comics, and I still don't have a saying to end my videos in 2025. I got to come up with a new one. I don't know. The more you stick around, the more you find out. I'm Crazy Kurt. I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you the Creepshow picture. So let's go take a look. Now we changed out all these posters for Halloween, and we ended up leaving them up because we just got tired of seeing the posters that were there before. There were other movies, so we switch them from time to time. But come up here, and here is Creepshow. Very, very cool. 1982. I remember seeing this in the movie theater. I was like a little kid. Shouldn't even been watching this movie, but very cool. Now here's the cool thing about this. Kids reading Creepshow in bed. We got Dawn of the Dead right there, poster behind him, because that was directed by George A. Romero, who directed the movie. We got Carrie and the Shining books posters, and they were written by Stephen King, who wrote most of this movie. So very cool. Creepshow. I like it. Alrighty, people. That's all I got. Peace.